everybody. Welcome to the Good Share Podcast,
the shortlist edition.
With Ryan and Ice. I'm Ice.
And I'm Ryan.
All right. That wasn't weird at all. Yeah, it was great.
That was a little bit of a weird pause there, but you know, that's okay.
Fine. Yeah.
You're much better than what I was getting.
It's just a delay in the signal. It's fine. Well, so today we're doing a short list on our top 5 TV shows.
Yes, with an honorable mention thrown.
Of course, yes. Always the honorable mention.
Yeah.
Top 5 with an HM.
So just in case you don't know, the format is we're working from 5 down to 1. 5 being not so favorite, but in our favorites.
Yes.
And then number 1 being our most favorite.
Yes.
Like our favorite, but not our most favorite, but our favorite.
But our most favorite. Yeah. And we do 5, 4, 3, 2, honorable mention, and then 1.
Yeah.
And these are just short little episodes. I'm going to try to be better than I was on the car episode about going into too much detail about why.
Yeah, we kind of both went what we normally do.
Yeah, I'm going to really try and just be... the only one I'm going to qualify is my honorable mention. And that's it. Because all these shows people know.
Yeah.
And yeah. So, all right.
And the idea is to keep the episode short. So if you guys like this format and you like the idea of this and you just cool or whatever, comment, let us know.
Yeah.
Go to the suggestion box, throw something in there. Let us know. Hey man, make it shorter. Hey man, put a little bit more, details in there. Cause I kind of like I want to know what you guys liked about your top 5, whatever it might be. If you have a list,
yes, please submit your list.
Submit your list.
That might be fun too. If I wonder, this would be on your end, but it would be cool if every episode you could set up a poll for people to. Oh, well, maybe that wouldn't work, but it would be interesting if we got suggestions of people making lists, and if there were like the top 3 shows that we saw repeated on lists, and we could read them on another short list episode sometime, that might be fun.
That could be fun. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Anyway, and just so the listeners know, like, this is not replacing or taking the place of our normal episodes. It's just to augment those episodes and come out in between.
Yeah.
So you guys don't, miss us too much.
Yeah, because we are going to have to change our release cycle a bit of our episodes, just because we're both getting kind of busy. And this is what happens in this business during the summer. Things pick up. But as we get closer to winter, we'll probably have a little bit more downtime and be able to devote more time to the shows. Okay.
All right. So, top 5 TV shows. Ryan, you get to go first because I went first on the last one.
That sounds good to me. Okay. So top 5. Number 5 for me is a show that I've been watching for a while now, and it's just a heck of a lot of fun to watch, is The Impractical Jokers.
Oh, that is a good one. Love that show. That's a great show.
It's not like a series or anything. No, but it's great mindless entertainment for the evening, like before you go to bed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just a wind down. It's a great one.
All right. My number 5, The Dick VanDyke Show.
No.
Absolutely.
Wait, what?
Love that show.
Holy cow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm serious.
Nick and Night stuff.
Yeah, like the original Dick Van Dyke Show from the 60s.
Oh, my God.
Or maybe even 50s. I think it was 60s, though.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm sorry, but, like, old TV is pretty special. And that show was amazing. That show is fucking funny. Like, that show is timeless. Show's hilarious. Mary Tyler Moore is a hottie on that show.
Absolutely agree.
So, come on.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Wow, that's that I did not expect that. I didn't expect that at all from somebody that watched some of the stuff that I know they watch. Number 4. I need to look for. Oh, there it is. Number 4 for me would be Stranger Things.
That's a good one too.
On the Netflixos.
Yes.
That's Spanish for Netflix.
I'm ready for season 4. I think it's supposed to come out this year. I hope.
Yeah, I'm excited to see season 4 as well. Is it this year? 2021?
I think it's supposed to be in the fall, I think.
Gosh, I hope so.
Because they didn't have a season last year because of COVID. So
Oh, that's right. That's what it was, wasn't it? Yeah, it's really fun show to watch. I love the music.
Yeah,
I love
and
the
just
throwback.
the whole like 80s nostalgia of it. Yeah, it's great.
Super neat. Yeah. Okay, number 4 for you, sir.
The original Twilight Zone.
Oh my gosh, really?
Absolutely. I think I said I wasn't going to do this, but I'm going to do this. I think a lot of people think of that show and they think, oh, it's just like a half an hour of like a weird story or a scary story or a freaky story. But like, yeah, it's some of that. But if you really watch it, there's a lot of social commentary that takes place in that show. And it's amazing how much of it still holds up today, which says a lot about how much we haven't progressed as a country. But I find that show truly entertaining and chilling, but like not in the sense of, oh, that was really scary, but chilling in the sense of like what he was trying to say through the stories he told.
I see.
Like issues he was trying to tackle without directly saying, hey, this is a problem.
Oh,
He would disguise it through like a story that you would think is like really far-fetched or like couldn't happen or would be unrealistic. But if you really think about what he's saying, you're like, oh, that's, he's really addressing this. And I love that show for that.
Huh. I never got to watch much of it. I only saw like a couple episodes.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any direct access. So
right. Man, for a while, all of the seasons were on Netflix, but I don't know if they still are.
I heard that, and then I went looking
a lot of them. This
I went
was
looking
like
for
2
them.
or 3 years ago.
I couldn't find them.
Yeah.
When somebody said that to me.
It's really good. Okay, that's my number 4.
You know, another show, it's sort of not.
I know what you're going to say.
I don't know if you will. What do you think of this?
Is it a Netflix show?
Oh, my next show?
No. What were you going to say?
A show sort of like that in a kind of different way.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say, but then I got thinking about it. I'm like, no, this show is more like this show, but it has like these same kind of like they're all the writing's the writing, right?
Yeah.
But the Orville.
Oh, I never saw it.
I know it's more like Star Trek.
Okay.
Orville is, but it has sort of the same thing with.
Star Trek was kind of like the original Star Trek was very much like that too. You know what modern day show is like that?
What's that?
Which I had to stop watching because after a while I was like, this doesn't even feel like far-fetched or futuristic. It feels like the time we're living in, and it just made me uneasy. What's that? Black Mirror.
Oh, yes.
Some of those episodes really hit me hard, and I was like, nah, all right, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
Not because it was bad, because it was like too on point.
Yeah, it was pretty, unsettling at times.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But that's not on my list. But that show, watching that show reminded me of trying to do the same thing that Twilight Zone was doing, 50, 60 years ago.
Right.
But 7 years ago, man. Anyway, number 3.
My number 3. Okay, so now these 3 here for me are going to be are tricky because they could actually kind of
move around. Yeah, that's fine.
And number 3 could actually be higher on the list next year whenever this next season arises. And this is Apple TV's Ted Lasso.
Okay.
Have you seen it?
I haven't. You told me about it, and many people have told me that it's really good. I need to see it.
It's such a good show. Somebody just told me recently that the character that Ted Lasso, that Jason Sudeikis plays, Ted Lasso, that character Jason developed doing stand-up.
Oh, now, interesting.
I don't know how much of that holds water exactly, but if it is true, that's kind of neat.
That's cool.
His character, you just absolutely 100% fall in love with this guy, and you want nothing more than to be this dude's friend. You just, I need that kind of guy in my life, that kind of thing. Like, right. He's such a positive dude. I mean, it's so good. But I really enjoy that show. That's my 3. That's my number 3.
My number 3, you can probably guess.
I'm going to guess it is the dude's name.
It is Dexter.
Dexter, yes. Is it Dexter?
It is. That's my number 3. It was a great show. Kind of a disappointing finale, but there's a new season coming out this year, so maybe they will fix some of how it ended.
Really?
Yeah. But I freaking love that show. From top to bottom, it's pretty dang good, and maybe I should be concerned about how much I want to be Dexter sometimes. But that show's pretty great. All right, you're number 3. Or you're number 2. Sorry.
Yep. My number 2 is only number 2 because my number 1 position not only I think is fantastic, and I absolutely love the person that stars in my number 1, but it also has a sentimental spot for me too. My number 2 is Ozark. I think I love Jason Bateman. I think he's fantastic. I think he's super uber talented. I think he's a fantastic director. I think he's a really good writer. I think he's obviously a fantastic actor. I like all the roles he's been in these different movies with what's her name? McCarthy.
Oh
shit.
Megan?
Is it Megan?
No.
McCarthy? Melissa.
Yeah.
Melissa McCarthy, yeah. So he's been in like a couple movies with her. They just had a new Netflix movie that was just one of the strangest things I ever saw, but Jason Bateman was still really good in it. But Ozark is awesome. Jason, I think, is part of the writing staff on that. He directed it, and he's, I think, an executive producer. And, of course, he stars in it as Marty Bird. And that series is phenomenal. It was so good. It was only supposed to have 3 seasons, and it was so highly watched, and people loved it so much that Netflix was like, yeah, we gotta. Like mid season 3, Netflix is like, okay, you gotta retool this one so you don't end, because we have to do another season. Yeah, pretty awesome show. So number 2 is Ozark for me. Number 2 for you.
Number 2 for me, this one needs no explanation. I think this is pretty universally loved. The Office.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Why isn't that on my list?
I don't know.
Oh, my gosh.
It's all right. It's on my list. And honestly, if my number 1 didn't have many, like a few, like near and dear reasons for being my number 1, The Office would probably be number 1.
Yeah.
I feel like The Office is a hard show to top. And
dude, The Office.
Talk about a series that like definitely had a lull in like season 8 or whatever, but then really rebounded hard in season 9, and they wrapped it up so perfectly. Did. Like there isn't anything about the way it ends where I'm like, oh, but they didn't talk about this, or I wish they'd done this. Like they sewed everything up so perfectly. Yep. And man, like
Office is great.
It's a great show. Great show. Man.
And you know what else is interesting about The Office, and this has a similar thing to do with my number 1. It's near timeless. Like, you can watch season 1 and still find all the stuff funny and all. And
it's so relatable. Gags. Like you don't have to work in a job like that to like relate to, because it's all about just the dynamic of the people.
Right.
You know, when I played in the Chris Weaver band, we always used to talk about like who each person in the band was as far as an office character.
Right.
Because the dynamic of how you interact with people is the same no matter what job you do. Yeah. There's people that you like. There's people you don't like. There's like people that are trying to be funny but are just annoying. Like, you know, there's your incompetent boss. You can guess. Which person in the Chris Weaver band was that. I'll give you a hint.
His name was on the contracts.
Anyway. That show's great. I'm kind of surprised it's not on your list. I thought for sure that would be one that we would repeat.
I don't know why. I feel like you know how you do. You dig for the stuff, and then you just go past the obvious things. The Office is shit, man. Office is.
I mean, I think I've watched it. I've probably watched that entire series 4 or 5 times all the way through.
Yeah.
You know? Like, and not to mention, like, when you're in a hotel or something, you turn on Comedy Central. It's always
on. You know what's funny is my brother didn't watch The Office until about a little over a year ago.
Really?
It's the first time he ever saw it. I tried to get him turned on to it earlier, and he was like, "Yeah, I watched like an episode, but I just didn't get it." And then for whatever reason, I think he started it in an episode that mattered, because you can do that on about anything.
Sure.
You can jump into an episode that you kind of need to know a little bit about what happened.
Like have some history with the characters or something. Yeah. And
there's plenty of episodes with The Office where you don't need that. Right. But I think he happened to jump in on something like that.
Sure.
And he didn't get, but then he started from season 1 because Abby, his fiance, was like, "You need to watch The Office." And they went from season 1 up, and he was like, "Dude, it's so," I'm like, "I told you it was so good." Okay, my number 1. Oh, wait, no. Honorable mention. Honorable mention. I don't think this needs much explanation because the show was amazing and it was a absolute smash hit, and it was 100% like okay. It may have had a little down, like just a tiny bit of a dip in season 3, but after that, from season 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, and 7, which is a discrepancy about the seasons on this particular show because of the release, the way it was released.
Saved by the Bell.
College years.
Kelly Kapowski, come on.
Oh my gosh. She's on this show called Deliciousness on MTV. And
Tiffany Amber Thiessen is?
Yes, and I do not like her.
Interesting.
She seems like such a pain in the ass is what she seems like. Anyway, so this show is Breaking Bad.
Ah, yes.
Fantastic. Bryan Cranston was amazing in this. And it was one of those same things that you said about The Office. At the end, everything kind of got buttoned up and put away nice and neat. Except for one little thing, but then they fixed that in a Netflix movie called El Camino.
Yeah, I am one of the 17 people that hasn't seen that show yet. I've not even seen an episode, so I really want to. It's not that I haven't seen it because I don't want to. I just haven't found the time, and I want to make sure I'm going to be able to, once I start it, I want to be able to finish it. So once my kids are in college and the show is 30 years old, I'll go back and watch it.
And it'll still be pretty relevant even then.
Yeah.
I mean, what a great show. Anyway.
Yeah.
What's your honorable mention?
My honorable mention, I'm going to tell you, I'm conflicted about mentioning it because I am sick of the person that is running the company.
Oh.
That produces the show.
Okay.
But the first 2 seasons of the show were great in spite of the person in charge of the entire company, not of the show. Do you know what I'm going to say?
I don't.
Okay. My honorable mention is The Mandalorian.
Oh,
gosh. But here's the thing. The way they did my girl, Gina Carano, is not fucking cool. It's fucking bullshit. She was one of the most badass Star Wars characters ever. And The Mandalorian as a show is probably, at least those 2 seasons, my favorite Star Wars thing in existence. Even more than the original trilogy. But Kathleen Kennedy needs to get the boot and stop running Lucasfilm because she sucks at everything. And I'm sorry if you disagree. I'm not pledging my allegiance to in one political direction or another, because I, first of all, don't do that. But like, she has done nothing but get in the way of good Star Wars things. And Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are the ones that made The Mandalorian happen. And Cara Dune is a badass character. And I mean, at this point, if I was Gina Carano and they asked me to come back, I wouldn't, because of how they treated me. But there's a part of me that wishes she would, because I would like to keep watching the show, but I don't know if I'm going to. But the first 2 seasons were amazing. The way did you finish it?
I did.
Dude, the way season 2 ended.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like, I get chills just thinking about it. Maybe if you're not a huge Star Wars nerd, then maybe the show doesn't mean anything to you, or maybe you watched it, but you're not a big nerd. So maybe the way season 2 ended isn't that big of a deal, but like, it was epic. And it was like the thing that everybody has wanted to see for like 30 years.
Yep.
That show, those 2 seasons are great. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep watching. Kathleen Kennedy sucks at her job.
You know what? Let's jump on this soapbox for just a second.
No, I don't want to jump on any soapboxes.
I am.
It's already 22 minutes.
I know. But this is just going to be quick. I said that last time. But this kind of goes back to these corporations and companies regulating what we are allowed to see and allowed to do as a consumer, right? If you don't want to sell me something, then don't make it, don't sell it. But stop. Apple is another one. This has gotten particularly heavy-handed as of the last 2 years. Now, and I don't know if this kind of goes back to also with the high insurance rate and high doctor bills, because everybody's wanting to sue every doctor because of some malpractice bunch of bullshit.
Right.
Now Apple is wanting to, are you sure you want this to do this? Are you sure you want that notification? Hey, you might want to turn down. Here, I'll turn it down for you, your ears and stuff, because we don't want you damaging your ears, because we don't want you coming back to us and suing us for anything. I get it. Like, you're trying to protect yourselves. And well, if you're that worried about it, then quit making it. Quit making it accessible in the first place.
Right.
Everybody's all freaking out about privacy. Well, here's another thing. If you're that worried about privacy, don't own those devices.
Yep.
Because here's the long and the short of it. If you've got an electronic device in your pocket, guess what? Somebody knows where you're at.
Yeah.
Somebody does.
No, man, they only know where you're at if you have the vaccine. they put alien tracking DNA in your blood.
Yeah, right.
You know, as the morons tweet that from their phone.
Right. They're tracking me now because they're going to track you because you have the vaccine. And
idiot.
Yeah. This has nothing to do with my phone triangulating off of all these cell phone towers and sending my every location every time I send a character up to the internet.
Right. Anyway, yes, yeah. All right, number...
Quit regulating our stuff. And artists, if the artist does something we don't like, we'll stop supporting them. And then guess what? You can say, hey, we're losing money because of you. You're done. Like, like any normal person would do.
Yeah. Which is funny because that's what's happening now because they gave her the boot and like so many people canceled Disney Plus.
Yeah. Right. And good.
Yeah.
Good.
Anyway.
That's the way it should work.
Yeah. But all that to say,
not exactly that way. It should be the other way around.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. But
holy cow.
That's my honorable mention.
Okay.
That show was really good. All right. Your number one.
My number one. My number one is the TV show Monk.
Oh, man. Dude, I forgot about that show.
Oh, dude. I just come across that show just recently. It was a suggestion from YouTube because, YouTube's got its claws in me. And it just happened to pop up. And I was like, oh, my gosh. Do you remember Wings on USA?
I never watched it, but I remember it. Yeah.
Tony Shalhoub, I think that was like his first real
Was he
role.
on that? Okay.
Yeah, he was the taxi driver. What was his name? I don't remember his name on that show, but that was a great show too. But Tony Shalhoub as Monk, he's brilliant.
I remember when I first lived with you guys, or I guess maybe it was after we moved. I was living with you, but you guys had moved into the house. But we were like binging that show for a while,
dude.
Like you were like hardcore.
Oh, I loved it. And, you know, that's one of those shows where you can just jump in anywhere.
Yeah.
And you kind of get the idea, okay, this guy's OCD and he's afraid of everything and he's got all these really weird
things. Yeah,
these tics and stuff. And then the mysteries are really intriguing. And then he's like this genius detective. Like everybody loves that stuff.
Right.
And just the way he plays the character, like some of the scenes and the faces, they're just, he sells that guy. Like that's that guy. Like that's a living dude that is on this planet. And my mom loved that show.
Oh, really?
Loved that show.
That's cool.
And so that was kind of, her and I would kind of like be on, I'd be watching and then I'd call her one evening and I'd be like, wait, and she's like, oh, I'm just watching Monk. And I'm like, I've been watching Monk. Yeah. And she's like, oh, isn't that the one episode about that? Wasn't that such a neat episode? Everything that she said was, wasn't that just so neat?
That's great, man.
Yeah, Mom, that was neat. So that's my number. That's my number one.
Man, I totally forgot about the show. You just made me think of another one that's not on my list, but it was a good show. Well, for a while, it was a good show. It
just mention the name
House.
Oh, that was going to be another one. Yep.
Like the early seasons of that show were really good.
So good. So cocky. Such an asshole. I loved House. Okay. What's your number one?
My number one. Wait, Monk was your number one, right?
Monk was my number one.
My number one is Freaks and Geeks.
Freaks and Geeks. And you know what? You've talked about this show a bunch, and there's not been one time I've even seen one episode of this.
There's only one season. It was made in 1999. Right. It got canceled. It's really a shame because now it has a huge cult following. But like Seth Rogen, Jason Segel, Linda Cardellini, Busy Phillips, oh my gosh, I can't think of. James Franco. It was all kind of like their first acting thing.
Huh.
I mean, they had maybe done a thing here or there, but it was like their first time like starring in something. Dude, it's set in 1980 in high school, and it is it's genius. Judd Apatow and Paul Feig wrote it and created it.
Okay.
The writing is amazing. The like everyone that's in it that they're like perfectly cast. It's truly a work of art, and it's a shame. Like part of me is it's kind of nice that there's only one season because it will forever be perfect. You know, sometimes shows go too long and then they get crappy. And like this show didn't,
like Heroes.
This show didn't go long enough, but who's to say it wouldn't have gotten worse had it was. So like it just lives, like there's just 18 episodes and it's amazing.
Huh. Where's it? Where can I find that?
I have it. Amy bought it for me on DVD many, many years ago for Christmas. I think before we were even married. Definitely before we were married. It comes and goes on Netflix. So it might be on there right now. It might not. But if it's not, it could be back on there soon. Because like it's been on and off there several times. But man, if you've never seen it, it's worth the watch. It's really good. And it's fun to see those people because, you know, Jason Segel, Seth Rogen, James Franco, they're all like big stars in their own right now. But it's like fun to see them. Like Seth Rogen was only 17.
Wow.
On the show. Wow. I think James Franco and Jason Segel are maybe like 20 or 21, but they're playing high school students. But like they hadn't really done anything yet. So it's fun to see them young like that.
Nice.
Yeah, it's great. And like the parents are great and like all the minor characters like the teachers and stuff. It's perfect. And I feel like I can really relate as like a Midwestern because it takes place up in Michigan. So it's like very relatable, and I feel like my upbringing was like the parents, the mom especially reminds me of my mom, for better or worse. But yeah, I love that show.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So that pretty much sums up our top 5 of our favorite TV shows.
Yes.
And this has been a Good Share short list, right?
Yeah. We'll catch you later.
Catch you on the flippity flip. Hey, thanks for listening or watching the Good Share podcast. Hey, Ice, tell them what they can do.
Well, if you're enjoying the show, please take a minute and like, subscribe, comment, rate, and review. And don't forget to ring that bell so you never miss an episode.
That's right. And if you want to know more, go to the Good Share Podcast.com.
Say hi, Tim.
Hi, Tim.